And welcome into To Our Health. You know, we're very fortunate in Central Alabama to have a campus here for the University of Alabama's Medical School in Birmingham. And at that campus, they do things that are going to be productive for area residents. They're trying to do things to make that campus a part of Montgomery's health picture. Dr. Louis Lambiase, you are the Dean of the Montgomery campus, University of Alabama Hersink School of Medicine.
That's correct.
Down in this area.
That's right.
And you're putting on this year another health conference on April the 4th.
That's correct.
And of course, it's going to be Addressing Health Disparities.
That's right. Yeah, thanks, Jack. Thanks for having me.
Yes.
We're really excited. This is going to be our second Montgomery Health Policy Meeting, where this year we're going to be partnering with the Alabama Department of Public Health. You know, it's the first week of April is Public Health Week nationally, and so Alabama Department of Public Health and the UAB School of Medicine are getting together to put on this conference where we've drawn some of the brightest minds in medicine to Montgomery, Alabama to discuss issues of health disparities. You know, it's one of the interesting and sad parts of the United States is we have the best medical care in the world. You know, right now for some of us, we have amazing medical care, bone marrow transplants, liver transplants, robotic surgery. But the problem is that for some of us, our care is not that good. And the outcomes are not as good. And people can live within 2 miles of each other and have remarkably different outcomes and incidence of things like heart disease, maternal mortality, diabetes. And so I think, you know, as a country that's as great as the United States, I think we have to look at that, think about it, and think about why that is. And so we've put together a slate of really excellent speakers to discuss that. We have a trauma surgeon, Dr. Simmons from the University of South Alabama, plus one of our own, John Mark Vermillion, who's from Baptist South here in Montgomery, who's going to talk about disparities in the incidence and outcomes of trauma surgery, why some communities have a much higher incidence of gun violence, for example. What are the things that we're doing in terms of laws that are making that worse, or the things can we do that make that better? Also, the way trauma's funded, you have to go hundreds of miles for some people to get trauma care.
And that's amazing, because trauma means, in my estimation, immediate.
Right,
yeah.
But if you get in a serious car wreck down in Dothan, you have to be flown to Montgomery.
Wow.
So not only, I mean, we have great helicopter crews and great paramedics, and we get you up here, we take care of you, but it also means you have to come back here for your follow-up. And so, you know, so that's hundreds of miles that you have to drive. And so, and that's basically because of the way the system is constructed.
And that's the place aspect of it.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. And so, you know, and then to go further on that, we have Daniel Carrion, who's a researcher from Yale University, who's going to come down and talk about how where you live and the environment in which you live really affects your health. For things like even just your gas stove, to be a little controversial, but also, you know, the environment that you live in, the heat, the cooling, all of that really affects your health. We've got Dr. Tom Dobbs, who's a UAB graduate in infectious disease, who's the used to be the chief health officer of Mississippi, but is now the dean of the University of Mississippi School of Public Health. Is going to talk about health disparities and drivers of health disparities. And then for the keynote, the Kennemer lecture, we have Dr. Mona Fod, who's from UAB, who's an internationally known researcher in these health disparities, and also is the head of a program called Live Health Smart Alabama, where UAB has coordinated with local companies and local people to get together and change neighborhoods to affect healthcare outcomes. So they do things like rebuild sidewalks and put in lighting, address food deserts, address the environment that people live in, and then also go after things like treating hypertension and making sure people have access to care. They've had some remarkable successes all throughout Alabama, and really trying hard to get our health measurements across Alabama much better. You know, Alabama, unfortunately, is one of the worst states as far as health outcomes, and so UAB is trying really hard to drive that. So at least we're in the middle.
Well, and part of it is funding. The other part of it is not taking care of yourself.
Correct.
So there has to be some, that's the reason, obviously, the Department of Public Health should be giving information.
Department of Public Health is really trying to get information out. They've got a number of diabetes information and treatment centers throughout the state, and they're working very hard to get people to have a healthier lifestyle and also to have take care of themselves and have access to care too.
And you mentioned the Kennemer family because it is a lecture series. They've been very supportive of doing things with the school over the years.
Yeah, Dr. Rex Kennemer is a Montgomery native and trained at the University of Alabama, and then went to Los Angeles for fame and fortune as the cardiologist to the stars. He was
Amen.
Elizabeth Taylor's cardiologist,
Wow.
and he endowed a foundation, the Western Cardiac Foundation, and they've been extremely generous in terms of supporting our campus, and they've endowed the Kennemer Lecture, which has really allowed us to bring some of the biggest and brightest names in medicine right here to Montgomery.
And that's the reason you're able to put on this health care meeting at no cost to the general public.
Yeah.
And like you say, if you're a medical person and you need CEUs,
Yeah.
or they may call
CME,
it
yeah.
CM, they're available for a small fee.
Yeah, that was just to defray the cost of the CME,
Good.
but otherwise, for the general public, there's no fee to this. So you have the opportunity to really listen to some of the premier people, the best and the brightest. You know,
Right.
on that day, Montgomery is going to be the center of the universe.
Great.
For this kind of thing.
April the 4th, it's a Thursday, 8 o'clock in the morning. You get out of there by 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The website is on the screen, or give me a call. We can get you the information you need. Do it for yourself, do it for your family, and more importantly, do it for your loved ones. And we'll be right back right after this.